Dominic, doing, buddy?
Hey, Mike, what's up?
Not a whole lot. Just getting ready to talk about some some movies again. And
I
what
know I'm
movie would that
excited.
be?
I'm excited to do our first animated feature. I am a huge fan of
Yeah.
animation.
Yes.
Um, we're going to talk about the 2004 Pixar movie, The Incredibles, written and directed by Brad Bird.
Yeah.
Now, if
It's a
you're
good one.
not if you're not into animation, you probably don't know that name. But his first animated feature film was The Iron Giant.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's
That's
pretty
a
cool.
it's a 90s classic animation. I love the Iron Giant and I love the Incredibles.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the just right off, and let me give you credit for picking this one because this was your pick.
Mhm.
But just right off, my big thing with like when I see new animation coming on the scene, um, my big criteria for whether I like it or not is how witty is it? How funny, how witty is it? Because I mean, a lot of people think of cartoons or animation, anime, whatever you're referring to
Mhm.
it as, or the genre. But a lot of people think of it as something for kids. And I go back to, I mean, I'm old, so I go back to the early days of animation. And the early days, it was, like think of Warner Brothers and the Bugs Bunny ones and all those crazy
Which are
cartoons.
great.
Yeah, they really are. And to tell you the truth, why I still love them, I will still sit down and watch Bugs Bunny cartoons or the those Tex what was it? Tex Avery. That he those were like crazy. It was like he was on drugs when he was doing those. There must have been a lot of drugs going on, or a lot of drinking or something, or both. But those Tex Avery ones were crazy. There were so many really good ones. The thing about them that was so good was they were funny and witty, and they had adult jokes in a kid's cartoon. And this maybe didn't quite have real adult ones, but it was a lot of wit, very funny jokes.
I thought this was a very smart cartoon, very well
Yes.
written.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of impressive animation out there. Like I've been thinking about what is the first animated movie I should choose because I was convinced I was going to be the first to choose an animated movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what was going to be the first to choose? Because you've got classics like Akira
Yeah. Yes,
or
absolutely.
Ghost in the Shell.
Yep. Oh
If
yeah.
you want like a serious, somewhat depressing
Oh yeah.
cartoon,
Yeah.
check out Grave of the Fireflies.
Yes, I've seen that, and I really actually I believe it was Alicia that told me about that one. And
Mhm.
there's a couple of I guess they were all made by the same filmmaker, and it was
Yep.
there's a bunch of them that, and they do tend to be a little on the moody side, a little bit more down, but very, very, I mean, beautiful films, beautifully made.
Mhm.
They really touch your heart. They touch your soul. And so yeah, there's some great stuff out there, and some really uh, deep. There might be animation
Mhm.
or anime if it's anime, but some of them are really, really well done. But I do need for me to embrace it and to say yes, I really want to watch this one and watch it all the way through, or watch further ones. They have to have substance. Either there has to be a really good plot line, or there's got to be a lot of good humor and wit. And this one had all of those elements. It was funny.
This one rocked on all four cylinders.
Yes, it
And,
really
and
did.
so, for those of you who have not seen this movie, who have not seen The Incredibles, it features a universe in which there are superheroes. There are superheroes and there are supervillains. And one of the big ones, one of the greats, was Mr. Incredible.
Yeah, yeah,
And he starts out doing his heroics, but at some point he stops a train He saves a life by stopping the train, but he creates a ton of injuries, and these people sue the government, and so they they put an end to all superheroes. They have them go into something like, it's like a witness protection plan where they're given secret identities. They can't use their superpowers. They got to live like ordinary people. And so in this movie, near the start, we find the former Mr. Incredible, now just plain ordinary Bob Parr. Um,
I love the
you,
name too.
I
The
know.
family name is Parr.
Yep, yep. And
Even nothing big, nothing too low, just on par.
he has married fellow superhero Elastigirl, and
Who's
they
a
have
babe?
kids. And so now, like, he's living the average life with a wife, raising his kids, and he's getting incredibly bored by it.
Yeah, yeah,
And so
absolutely.
he starts doing superhero work on the sly.
Him
And
and him and Samuel L. Jackson.
yep, yep. Or in other words, Frozone.
Yes, and I loved his name too, Frozone. No, it's again all of the characters being who they are is just it's a fantastic mix of of characters and having Samuel L. Jackson in any movie, whether it's doing voice or actually there, he brings a lot to to a movie, and he's great in this as Frozen. So,
Yep, yep. Now,
but
do you know who did the voice of Edna, the
uh,
costume woman?
I don't um I
You got it
don't
up right behind you.
yeah, I my head's kind of blocking,
Yeah.
but I don't know the. I'm trying to actually. I guess I could do. There we go. Wow, really? Okay,
So that is the guy that directed and wrote this mess,
okay,
Brad Bird.
yeah,
That's the guy
yeah.
that did the Iron Giant. That's the guy behind the Incredibles. They wanted to hire Lily Tomlin for Ed,
She would have been good for it, but
but
yeah,
during some of the test animation runs,
yes,
he voiced Edna. And when Lily Tomlin heard his voice for Edna, she's like, "What do you need me for? You've already got the perfect voice."
yeah, yeah. Well, the voice was great, and I didn't realize it was him that was doing it. But they did have the perfect voice. I mean, Edna is a great character for one thing, a really great character, and
Mm-hmm.
as far as like extra comedy in that, I mean, she was hysterical when when he comes in for the uniform. I was really cracking up, and then when the wife comes in and just the way her she's interacting, the wife is all angry with Elastigirl. She's all angry with like, what's my husband up to? And and she's like, well, no, I need to design suits for you and the children. And she's already got the suits already too,
Yep, yep.
but yeah, she is great. But yeah, it's a really, I mean, you talk about movies and casting for movies, but I mean, look at what they pulled together for like, and again, what may that's a great expression. That's a great expression.
This
Um,
is the scene where Edna is showing Helen, the mom, the suit she designed for the baby.
yeah, and that was hysterical. I wish I actually had a scene shot from that because when they had like the baby crawling through,
Oh
there's
yeah,
yeah,
I wanted a screenshot of the baby on fire so bad, and I just
that,
couldn't find one.
see, that's another thing, and I mean that's getting into near where the end is, but the baby,
Jack Jack.
yes, he is so damn. It's. I mean, I knew I could tell that he was going to have because they kept saying, "Well, oh, he doesn't have any powers," and it's like when you finally see at the end the powers, he's the most powerful one of all of them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this kid has a variety of stuff, and this baby, actually, this infant. but it's hysterical, and this is why this movie works, because there is so many funny elements to it, and they didn't just do it with one or two characters. There weren't
No,
just it was everybody.
all the
You know,
characters were really fleshed out. Even the babysitter, for
yes,
the brief screen time she had,
yeah,
remained a memorable character.
yeah, absolutely. It was actually really funny, like the phone call
Mhm.
where she's saying like there's something wrong with the baby with the baby. The baby's doing like odd things.
So to give a little insight to that, um, during the mom and family have to go rescue the dad. And so she leaves the baby behind with a babysitter because at that point the baby had not yet exhibited any special abilities, any
Actually,
powers.
Violet, her daughter, left the baby behind, and she's not real happy that Violet did that. But
Oh, you're right. You're right. And so while they're all away and the baby is with the babysitter, you'll periodically get those phone calls from the babysitter.
the
Those
updates,
worried phone calls, like something's going on, something weird is
yeah,
happening.
yeah. Uh, uh,
Well, Pixar put out an animated short called Jack Jack Attack that shows her experience with the baby.
oh yeah, wow, that's yeah. See,
And, I,
I
and I'm
haven't
going to
seen
link to
that.
that in the comments. So if anyone's interested in
Nice.
seeing that short, I'll link to it.
I will have to check that out because I haven't seen that myself. But yeah, you can tell you can you can tell the baby's up to some craziness unattended by its parents. But no, it's every character in this. Just just the boss is a funny guy. It's and of course he's I don't have the actor's name right in front of me. I don't know if you can
Sean
pull.
Wallace.
Yes, and he's been in so many things. He's not only voice, but just he's a good actor that plays like a lot of times he plays like a kind of I don't wouldn't say a bad guy, but just kind of like a jerk. So, but yes, yeah, they're and as
Yep.
tiny as he is with the little Napoleon complex he's got, and poor Mr. Incredible there, he's seeing some guy get mugged out on the street and he's trying to go to help the guy and he's saying if you leave now you lose your job. So which again results in him finally making the decision that he's going to go full time back into being an incredible superhero again.
So by the way, if someone is listening to us and they don't know who Sean Wallace is, the two roles that I know him best from are on The Princess Bride.
Yep.
He's the
Yes.
guy that keeps saying inconceivable.
Yes. Yep. And if you don't
And
know the voice from that, you don't know him.
if you're a Star Trek fan, he played the Grand Negus on Deep Space Nine, the Ferengi character.
Okay. Yep. 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 I know I know the I know the character.
I also
But
think he was in My Dinner with Andre, if I'm remembering that correctly, but I might not. Anyone listening, if you're telling me like, oh man, you're dead wrong, just tell me in the comments.
well, offhand, I can't. I couldn't answer. I couldn't speak to that one. But I mean, I know that movie. I've seen that movie, but it's been a little while. But I can't say I remember it one way or the other. So, but no, this was a great one for our first animation one because again, I tend to be a little bit more judgmental about newer animation, especially coming from Pixar or Disney. There's been
Mhm.
a lot of duds, especially lately. And not that they're listening to us right now, but they should be because I'm just saying your movies are real boring lately. I mean,
But I got to tell you, I haven't seen anything recently, but like Pixar, when they first came out, they knocked it out of the park. Toy
they sure
Story,
did.
The
And that's one of the
Incredibles.
reasons why now I'm so angry that they're not putting out better stuff
Mhm.
because they're capable of it and they do wonderful animation. Um, it's a matter of they're being held back by themselves on everything from the comedy, the jokes. They're afraid to do comedy and jokes, and they're in
I don't
they're
think that's it. I think they're so locked in to algorithms. Like this
yeah.
is what the data shows will make us the most money.
Yeah, I don't know. I
That
like I said, I do think I think they're holding themselves back. But it's it's like be a little more daring, be a little more Tex Avery like, do some wacky stuff, do some stuff that people are gonna really have some laughs and a
yeah,
good
to be
time.
honest,
And
I can't think of what's come out recently.
that's the trouble. That's why you can't think of anything. There has been nothing, there's been nothing like this.
Mm.
That's the trouble, and they're fully capable of doing it. I mean, look at the jokes in this. This was hysterical. This joke here with the
The mom
Elastigirl.
villain?
Yes,
Yeah.
when she's caught between like four doors, and parts of her are sticking through, and she's
Yep.
having to deal with people on like in each segment
Yeah,
of
these
those.
guards are coming around with no like what am I looking
What's going on? Yeah, it's hysterical. It's a great gag,
at? Mhm.
and they managed to pull it off really, really well. You don't even have to be doing something too nuts to have a funny joke. And that was a great scene there. I mean, it's like I said, this is a witty, funny movie,
It,
and
it,
it's
it,
fully
it's witty, it's funny, it's dramatic. Like
yes,
there's an actual villain that is getting the better of them that you don't know they're going to overcome.
yeah,
It's heartfelt. It tells
it
stories of
is.
family.
Yeah, it is. It actually is. There's moments. I mean, I found myself kind of tearing up towards the last part of the movie. There's some really sweet scenes in this movie, and this this is funny right here with the kid because
Oh yeah.
the villain in this the one with the flaming hair
Syndrome.
it's that kid right there, the one up top is the kid version, and he starts out as a fanboy of Mr. Incredible,
Mhm.
and when Mr. Incredible doesn't pay enough attention to him and give him the right, and he's interfering, he's doing some stuff that he causes that train thing to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and then of course years later, because Mr. Incredible didn't give him enough love, he comes back as the guy in the mask next to me, and that guy is a real problem. so, so
But I gotta tell you, and that's another good thing about this, the writing in this movie is it's a believable villain.
yes, yeah,
It's
absolutely,
not someone ridiculous with some nonsensical agenda. This kid was hurt,
yeah, yeah,
and he's carrying that trauma
yeah,
into his adult life, and it's driving him to do these things.
yeah. And Mr. Incredible actually does say to him, "I'm sorry I didn't handle that better. Like I'm sorry I didn't like, because the kid actually was I mean, he loved Mr. Incredible. It was his hero, and his hero kind of let him down. And again, this is another funny joke.
Yeah,
She walks by a mirror and she has to check her butt out, and it's like that cracked me up so much. I like it was so many little laughs in this. I mean, this right here behind you, she,
yeah.
Elastigirl, she's doing vacuuming, and she's using her elastic arm to get close and vacuum under his feet. It's hysterical. There's little funny things in this.
There's almost no dead time in
No,
this.
no,
There's interesting scenes going on all the time.
yeah, yeah, and again, that's what makes this so damn good. It's
Mhm.
truly, it's incredible. uh, and I love the stuff with the powers, like how the kids are figuring out their power, and they're funny. Like Dash, the way he's some of the chase in the jungle is really funny when
Mhm.
he's running around and he's luring all those machines to smash into each other, and then she's pulling up force fields that she doesn't even know she can do. It's Violet, and it's great. It's constant fun and constant movement, crazy stuff going on. Every one of even the villains, the little villains that would just make a 10-second appearance, they're
Yeah,
fun. so,
the guy at the end, the underminer.
oh my God, that was that cracked me up.
Do you know who did that voice?
No, no, who was it?
Cliff Clavin from Cheers.
Oh my God. Oh, like
John Ratzenberger.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually, thinking about it. Uh, that the name, the Underminer.
I know.
It's so again, cleverness all the way around. This is
Mm,
so well done. I've got nothing but praise for it.
yep, yep. This was so impressive, such an impressive feat that they got so many things right.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And again,
we're not the only one that thinks so. This was the first fully animated movie to win, I believe, best screenplay.
wow, wow. Well, and deservedly. I mean, it it's so funny, so well written, so cleverly written. And you've said in just some of the recent ones that we've talked about, movies, you've talked about how you didn't feel like certain characters or certain plot ends were fully fleshed out.
Mm,
This this is a good example of a it's an animation film that actually has fully fleshed out characters. So if you want to do it, you can do it.
I've got a short list in my head of perfect movies.
Yeah,
And when I say perfect, I don't mean the best.
right.
I mean enjoyable by almost everyone. And in my mind, I don't care how young or old you are, or whether you like action, drama, or comedy.
Yeah,
This has something for everyone.
I would think so. I would think so. I mean, I think there's people that are just overtly prejudiced to animation
Mhm.
that they go, oh, I don't want to watch an animation movie.
Mhm.
But to me, if you take that attitude, there's other things, there's other genres of film, and there's things in life that are like that. If you're just going to be like that, you're going to miss out. But this is a good example of, if you don't normally watch animation, maybe give this one a try, because if you can't have fun with this, you're probably not a very fun person. You're gonna laugh at some point in this movie.
And, and let me just say, if you did like this, you're gonna love the sequel.
Yeah, yeah. And see, that's the thing. I realized afterwards, I don't think I've ever seen the sequel, and I knew.
Neither is Lisa. So we're gonna have to do that at some point because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love the sequel.
Okay, yeah, because and that's good to know. I was really wondering. Some of the shots that I pulled up have had segments, like the one behind me now, have had
Hmm.
segments from the sequel, not from the baby. The funny thing with the baby is he doesn't really show his power in this movie, Incredibles 1, until the very end, when the villain comes to steal and gets a very funny surprise
He does
when,
not know what he's in for.
no, he has no idea. And when the baby gets angry because he's taken away from his parents, the baby turns into a flaming devil that is like, he's like, oh my God, like, it's so damn funny.
So just an interesting thing I heard when I was reading up on Brad Bird and his writing of
Yeah,
this script. He was saying he based these characters on stereotypical images. He's like, a dad has to be strong,
yeah,
and so he made Mr. Incredible strong,
very
super
strong.
powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
He said moms have to be flexible.
And yeah, flexible and multitask too,
Yep.
which she does throughout the entire movie.
Hmm.
I mean, even the scene at the end, talking about the mom and dad roles and things like that. Even the scene at the end, he's afraid because she's basically saying, "Throw me," like and and he's like, and she's like, "Just do it." And of course, she rescues the baby, and the baby's in free fall. But there's so much to this. It's so well written. The teenage girl Violet, she's really unsure. She's a typical high school girl. She's trying to deal with all the stress and problems of high school, and she ends up like seeing her strength when she's in this fight with this villain, and she goes back to school like way more confident. There's really cool, nice, beautiful elements to this movie. You know, it's just was so
Mhm.
well done.
So well done. And you can tell that from the numbers. The budget for this film is somewhere between 92 and $145 million.
Wow, wow,
I
wow.
believe I believe this film, the budget for this film is more than our last three films combined.
Wow, wow, that is saying something right there.
But
That's
on the flip side, it was the fourth highest grossing film of 2004. And
huh.
that's not fourth highest animated film. That's out
Yeah,
of all films. It was
yeah.
the fourth highest. It ultimately brought in $632 million.
Damn, damn. That's incredible right there. Yeah, it's again, I can see it. It's not none of those numbers really surprise me too much because I can see it. I can see it in the quality of how it was made. I can see it in why wouldn't somebody love this movie?
This
Um,
this was one of the earliest Pixar movies that dealt entirely with humans, not personified cars or robots or anything like that. All humans. And so to get the clothes, to get the movement, to get the hair right, they had to develop new animation technology
wow. Yep.
to get
Yep.
the look we see in here. They hired costume designers in real life so that the animators could see how cloth drapes and folds on a body.
Yeah. Which, that reminds me of some of the stuff that some of the early Disney movies. I still remember, I believe it was, yeah, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. When they did that movie, they hired people with different body shapes and they had them move. And of course, they didn't have the green screen and the ability to do the body tracking and things like that. They just had to watch and learn from that, just watching it. And they felt, and I remember seeing a documentary that showed how it was made, and they actually just by observing they came up with those movements, and that's why they're so realistic. So yeah, it's again, uh, Disney, Pixar, they have definitely they enjoy success because they are so good at animation, and they've captured no matter whether it was early animation and more primitive techniques, and they're embracing the craziness of what's going on now with whether it's AI or whatever. They do it.
So
I can.
so this woman behind me is Sarah Vowell. She
Okay.
did
Yep.
the voice of Violet.
Yes. Yep.
She had never voice acted before.
Oh, really?
She she was a presenter on This American Life.
Oh, okay. All right.
And so whoever was in charge of the casting heard her voice and said she will be perfect for
Huh.
Violet.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to do it at first. She's like, I've never done anything like this. This isn't me.
Yeah.
To convince her, they took one of her spots from This American Life and they
Yeah.
animated it
Huh.
and then sent it to her.
Oh, wow. Well, that actually makes me happy too because I'm a fan of NPR, and This American Life is something that I actually enjoy listening to.
Mhm.
There's a number of things. NPR is just they're great,
Oh
but
yeah.
um but yeah, that's cool. That's a real cool little anecdote there. Really
This,
really cool.
this was Samuel Jackson's first animated movie.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm so happy that he was in it. He makes every movie that I either see him in or hear him in. He makes it more fun for me. I love Samuel L. Jackson. Cool dude. From
Brad Bird demanded Samuel L. Jackson be the voice of Frozone because he wanted his voice to be the coolest voice in the
well,
movie.
it was. Samuel L. Jackson is the coolest dude in the room. No matter what room he's in, he's you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, again, I give mad props to Frozone. He showed up at the right times, and he was just, he's awesome.
There's a number of people that have been calling for Frozone to get his own movie, and I don't think they're wrong about that.
I think he can pull it off. I really do. Um, I'll tell you what was hysterical too. Another funny scene was when they were doing their little side jobs, going out at night and not telling their wives that they were
Mm-hmm.
going out doing superhero work, and they end up crashing through a wall to get out of that fiery burning building, and they end up in what was it, a jewelry store.
Jewelry store, yeah.
They got masks on their face, and they're and the cops show up outside, and he looks at Mr. Incredible. He goes, we look like the bad guys," and now they got to figure out a way to get out of that room. So it was so funny. I mean, everything that Frozone was in was making me laugh.
No, there was such attention to detail
Yes.
in this movie. The Easter eggs, just all the little inside jokes they included, the
Yeah.
visual humor they included. At one point, I couldn't get a screenshot of this. I'm bummed. I couldn't get a screenshot of this. But when Mr. Incredible is first contacted by Mirage, I
Yeah.
can't remember what the organization was called. She gives him a business card that just has a phone number.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
During the promotional part of this movie and when it first came out, that number worked.
Oh, really?
You
Wow,
could
that's
call
cool.
that number and the voice of Mirage would answer.
Wow, that's so awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, and again, even Mirage's character, small character, but it was that was that her character was developed. It was, like I said, everybody had something to offer in this, that no matter which.
I gotta say, that part in the movie where she was having her life threatened
Yeah.
and her boss, Syndrome, is
Oh,
like,
oh
I'm
yeah.
okay with it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that was just so well done.
It really was. It really was, and it actually brought about her ultimate betrayal.
It
I mean,
was the turning point.
she felt for Mr. Incredible anyway, because of the whole thing with his family, and how he truly loved his family, and so she decides to help him. But yeah, it all those things, his react syndrome, and that's a great name, syndrome. But that every single thing there. I mean, it was just, you could see the hurt and betrayal when he goes, yeah, yeah, go ahead, kill her. Like,
Oh my God. So the short I told you about that I
yeah.
will include a link for, I promise. Because I feel like if you like this movie, you have to see this short. But near the end of it, the babysitter is being run ragged. Doorbell rings. It's Syndrome because he gets the baby.
Oh, okay, yes, that was
Okay.
yeah.
And so
Yep.
she's looking at it. She's like, what's the S for? Because he's wearing his costume. And he's
Yeah.
like, uh, it's for sitter. Yeah, S for
Wow.
sitter. I
Yeah.
wanted to get babysitter, but I couldn't very well have BS on my costume.
That's great. See, again, a really funny joke. I mean, that easily could have been included in the movie, and it would have been hysterically funny. Now, that's another thing that was really funny, was when he's embracing her after she frees him from the handheld, that, and his wife comes into the room, and he's like, I was just thanking her. uh, and the wife is furious. But the another thing that kept going through my head was the whole setup, the way they did the villain, and the whole setup. It really reminded me of a James, and I'm a fan of James Bond. It was
Mhm.
like Doctor No and all those early Bond villains.
Oh, that was a direct inspiration for a
Yeah,
lot of the design.
yeah, yeah. You could really see it, because I was thinking to myself, man, if anyone that like grew up on James Bond movies, which I did,
Mhm.
my God, it was like, this is as fun as a James Bond movie. So it
Totally,
had a
totally.
lot, a lot.
So the character Syndrome, the bad guy, the villain,
Yes.
do you know what his look was based on?
No, I mean it's kind of familiar to me, but wow,
That guy,
wow, really? Okay,
that's Brad Bird.
okay,
That's
yeah,
the guy that wrote it, directed it, that voiced Edna's character. Syndrome, the looks were based on him.
yeah. I can see it. I can really see it. Actually, the boy version, you can see that too because he
Oh,
has a very
Tony.
young, or he had a very young face anyway at the time this was done. But yeah, that you can really see it. Man, that must have made him laugh right there just to see yourself animated like that.
Oh, I'm sure he had so much fun with this.
Oh yeah.
This was
Well,
his.
again, Dom, great choice. Great choice.
Oh, I loved it.
I mean, I had seen it before, and you know, it had been quite a while. I actually was surprised how much I had forgotten about the movie, and I remembered really liking the movie, but I liked it even better seeing it years down the road. And I was thinking, this is you know so well done. It's one you kind of want to revisit, and I probably should have come back to it before I did
Oh yeah, I mean
because
this is a classic. It's destined to be a classic.
yeah, 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 much fun. But and again, look at the look at the villain off there to the side, the young version and the and the
Oh
older
yeah.
version.
The,
But
the art in this was amazing. The art, the animation, the music that was in
yeah,
it, the sound was great. It actually won at least one, if not more, awards for the sound.
yeah, I'm not surprised. The sound was like real. I mean, real fitting for whatever craziness was going on at the moment. The sound was very fitting for that. But yeah, again, I loved the way the family came together in the jungle to all help each other, and it was again so well rounded. The father's fears after he thinks his family is dead, and the father's fears to actually like bring them back into the scene and put them in any kind of danger. Even his wife, who he knows the superhero, he's afraid to do it at first, and she has to tell him, "Hey, we can do this. We can do this together." But it's just well done, and so many laughs. That baby kills me.
Oh, the baby steals the show every
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, he really does. Terrific character, but they're all terrific. I mean, the son was cracking me up when he was doing all that running around, and and Violet, just like I said, she's figuring out her force field on on the fly. At one point the brother says, "I didn't know you could do that." And she's like, "I didn't either." It was, but yeah, they figured this out so well. It was everything came together perfectly. It was just really great plot, great action,
Mhm.
and the best was the great comedy. So, what more can you say?
So uh one of the characters early in the film is Bon Voyage.
Oh, yes, yes.
They originally wanted to call him Bon Perignon, but the champagne maker refused to
Oh,
allow him
wow.
to use
Okay.
that name.
Well, actually, that's pretty damn funny. But I really cracked up because when I heard bomb, it it's not bond like good. It's bomb, and that in itself was just so damn funny. All the characters that whether it's the names or just what they were bringing to it are witty and funny, and
Even
calling a
the
character bomb when he's exploding bombs, that's funny, you know.
even the government handler that took care of the
Oh
parts,
yes, yeah,
even he was good. Like everyone.
yeah, yeah. No, again, like I said, I've got nothing but praise for this. You know, I mean, I sound like a fanboy myself because again, watching this after so many years and realizing, you know, I loved it even more than I even realized. Because again, you know, time passes and you kind of sometimes forget just how good And I remembered it as being, when you suggested it, I remember thinking to myself, yeah, I like that. But I really love the movie. I don't
Mhm.
just like it, I love the movie. It's good. Good,
Yeah.
again, good suggestion, Dom,
Yep.
especially for our first animation.
Yeah, believe me, I started thinking about that months and months ago because again,
Yeah,
I absolutely adore
yeah.
animation. I watch cartoons right now.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
if you've never seen anything by Alex Hirsch, he's
Yeah,
done Gravity Falls is amazing.
yeah.
The Owl House,
I've seen that.
Amphibia, just phenomenal cartoons that again work on so many levels. You can be
Yeah,
entertained as a kid, you can be entertained as an adult.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, again, that's the thing I truly loved about this, because that is what draws me to animation. It's, to me, it's like, if you're gonna make a movie, especially by a studio that primarily makes movies more for, younger, like more like kids, include the jokes for the adults, because that makes the adults want to see them. It makes them want to go to to the movie. And God
Mhm.
forbid you you have a kid that wants to see that movie over and over again, which most kids, if they really love a film, they want to see it, again and again. And once you have it on anything you can watch at home, the kid's going to say, "I want to see Incredibles again." And so it better have some clever jokes, because it's
Mhm.
going to drive you crazy if it doesn't. And this one has so many funny jokes that you can actually sit there with your kid and watch it over and over again.
No, I'm glad I chose this one because there were so many to choose from. I almost, if I'm feeling evil
Yeah.
during
Yep.
during our YouTube channel run, if I'm feeling evil, I will at some point choose the Lego movie.
Okay. Okay.
Because,
Yeah,
because
I
I
haven't
gotta
seen
tell
it.
you, I enjoyed the Lego movie way more than I thought I would. I
Oh,
actually think it's a really good movie. The first
really?
one, not the
Okay.
second one. The second
Well,
one's
I
horrible.
I have I haven't seen it, so that's
But it has a
that's
song in it that is the poppiest, most earwormy song you have ever heard. When
wow.
you hear it, it will run through your head for months and you will
Yeah,
not
yeah.
be able to do anything to stop it.
Well, and I have a problem with, like, if I hear a song, especially if it's an annoying song, I can't get it out of my head.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's like, damn, you wake up and you're hearing it. It's like it's like,
I
damn, why
think
am
Baby Shark had me for a year.
I no, again, like I said, I've truly been a fan of animation all my life, but I do tend to avoid a lot of newer ones until I know that there's some cleverness to the writing. If I see that, then I'm all over it. I want to see it, and I want to enjoy it. But
Yeah,
bring
well,
me
let me tell
bring
you, I'm glad we had our first animation movie, and this will not be our last.
No, no, no. Believe me, even if you weren't pushing for it, I love animation myself, and there's plenty that I can come up with. I mean, there's so many films that I've seen. Even, like something like The Little Mermaid, which I was really because my niece Alicia was so obsessed with the movie that that was one of those ones where she wanted to see it over and over again. But the songs and the jokes and the characters were just so cool that, again, that's one that I'd watch that in a heartbeat right now.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
I considered that. I seriously considered Toy Story
yeah, yep,
because
yeah.
again, that's what put Pixar on the map.
Oh, absolutely. And I did start trailing away from it. I've seen probably Toy Story 1 and 2. I don't maybe I've seen 3, but
I've seen them all, but I'm not sure I was able to make it through all of four.
yeah. Yeah, because the longer a franchise goes
Mhm.
on, the harder it is it's whatever the franchise is. I mean, you look at what's the one with the ogre and the donkey there. Um,
Oh, Shrek.
yeah, Shrek. I really enjoyed Shrek, and they had, I don't know how many sequels that were made, but
These two.
yeah, I remember enjoying the second one, but not as much as the first. And
Mhm.
the first Shrek was the the movie, and but again, Shrek was fun. There were
Yep.
a lot of funny, silly characters in that. You know, you're
Yeah,
a
heck,
monster when
I paid to go to the theater to see that, and I was not unhappy with that decision.
no, no. Again, Shrek was very funny. It was well worth going to see. I mean, there were so many, there were so many, like, again, like just like this one, there were so many well thought out characters and so much cleverness that it was well worth going to see and to watch again and again. So yeah, we'll have to do Shrek.
Yeah, we'll have to Shrek. We'll have to do Toy Story. Um, at some point, we're gonna have to do Akira. I I,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't choose it at first because it's not as approachable
yeah,
as this movie. At certain
yeah,
points during the, I've seen Akira like maybe 3 or 4 times, and there are still points where I'm like, what is going on?
yeah. Well, and that I would say probably the biggest thing, which hey, maybe actually it will actually broaden people's horizons because there are people who maybe would watch this that would be less prone to watching something like Akira. But
Right.
Akira is a great film, and it's well worth seeing. And if someone needs to like actually like just move your boundaries a little bit further and actually take a chance on it, it's well worth seeing. It's very, very well done.
Oh, a question for you directly. Are you watching Invincible on Amazon Prime?
No, nope.
Okay, that you may want to check that out.
Okay, all right, yeah,
See if you can find like a sample first episode or something.
yeah, yeah, no,
It's
I will.
written it's written by Jonathan Hickman, who also created The Walking Dead.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll tell
And
you what, I actually will probably try to check it out in the next the next 3 or 4 days because it'll or nights. So yeah, sounds good. Actually, text me on that one so
okay,
I don't forget to check that one out. Um, no, I will gladly take a chance on it. And
excellent. Well, we're going to be watching more animated movies in the future, but I think we've talked about The Incredibles for as much as we can.
yeah, uh, they're definitely they're definitely worth talking about. And again, maybe down the road, try to grab Incredibles too, since I haven't seen it.
Oh my
Um,
God, so awesome.
yeah, like I said, I actually looked at the I looked at all the shots of like for Incredibles 2, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I ever got around to that. And I soon realized, yeah, I hadn't seen it. So why I haven't seen it, who knows? But you just can't get to everything. But
I
yeah.
waited, well, it did take over 10 years for the sequel to come out.
Oh, really? Really? I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
I think the sequel, like this is 2004. I
Yeah.
think the sequel came out in 2018.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
So it was a long wait.
in a way, it kind of makes sense. 2018 was a little bit of it was a crazy year. There was a lot going on for me that year.
Mhm.
um, but um, but yeah, that might make sense that I didn't see it. So yeah, I'll have to definitely check that out. So we'll plan for that down the road. But yeah, I
Well,
think we
sounds good.
yep, and I think we did do this one a pretty good service by our talk on it. I hopefully, if you haven't seen it, people, I would suggest you definitely go there and watch it if you can. I don't know that it's free to watch anywhere,
The,
but you
the
can
only
certainly rent
place
it.
that I know it is it's on Disney Plus.
Okay, all right. Yeah, well, there's a source, which isn't necessarily free, but
Now,
but if you
luckily, I love a lot of Disney Plus shows, and so
yeah,
I already have it.
yeah. Well, I actually, I mean, I have it on Vudu, So it's available to see on Vudu. Either buying it's a little expensive. I think it's like $20 to buy it, but you can rent it for about 3 or 4. So that's, to me, that's a reasonable price if you want to see something, and it's well worth seeing. It's available on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, if I could give this 3 thumbs up, I would.
Yeah, I definitely give it a good hard 2 thumbs up. It's very entertaining. If you're not into animation as much, come there for the jokes, because the jokes are clever, and it's as well thought out as a as a lot of comedy movies today. So just the fact that it's animated, give it a chance.
Yeah.
It's fun. So thank you guys for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you would. And Dom and I are really happy that you're tuning in. And
Yeah.
Dom, I really enjoyed this, so thank you.
I loved it, and it's your turn next. So we'll be back
Yep.
next week.
Yep, and I've got something that I think everyone will like hearing about in mind, and it was one that was suggested by someone. My niece Vicky suggested it, and so I'm gonna put that up there for her. So next week we'll be talking about that one, and again, it's one that was pretty well acclaimed, but I think that's it for the I think that's it for the talk today this week.
Yeah,
But,
good talk as always, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy the heck out of it. So Dom, thank you, bud, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yep, next week. See ya.
See ya.